Namaste everyone and welcome to my channel Sapna's Yoga Diary. In this audio video book, I'm going to cover the fourth and fifth lesson of Gherand Samhita. Lesson fourth, Pratyahar or restraining the mind. Gherand said, "Now I shall tell thee Pratyahar, yoga the best. By its knowledge, all passions like lust, etc., are destroyed. Let one bring the chitta, thinking principle, under his control by withdrawing it. Whenever it wanders away, drawn by the various objects of sight, praise or censure, good speech or bad speech, let one withdraw his mind from all these and bring the chitta under the control of the self. From sweet smells or bad smells, by whatever odor the mind may be distracted or attracted, let one withdraw the mind from that and bring the thinking principle under the control of his self. From sweet or acid tastes, from bitter or astringent tastes, by whatever taste the mind may be attracted, let one withdraw it from that and bring it within the control of his self." This is the end of lesson 4th. Now we are going to begin lesson 5th. Pranayam or restrain of breath. Gherand said, "Now I shall tell thee the rules of pranayam or regulation of breath. By its practice, a man becomes like a god." Four things are necessary in practicing pranayam. First, a good place. Second, a suitable time. Third, moderate food. And lastly, the purifications of the nadis. What are nadis? Vessels of the body, that is, alimentary canal and etc. Place. The practice of yoga should not be attempted in the far off country from home, nor in a forest, nor in a capital city, nor in the midst of the crowd. If one does so, he loses success. In a distant country, one loses faith because of the yoga not being known there. In a forest, one is without protection. And in the midst of a thick population, there is danger of exposure, for then the curious will trouble him. Therefore, let one avoid these three. In a good country, whose king is just, where food is easily and abundantly procurable, where there are no disturbances, let one erect there a small hut. Around it, let him raise walls, and in the center of the enclosure, let him sink a well and dig a tank. Let the hut be neither very high nor very low. Let it be free from insects. It should be completely plastered over with cow dung. In a hut thus built and situated in such a hidden place, let him practice pranayam. Time. The practice of yoga should not be commenced in these off hour seasons out of 6. Hemant, that is winter. Shishir, that is cold. Grishma, hot. Varsha, rainy. If one begins in these seasons, one will contract diseases. The practice of yoga should be commenced by a beginner in spring, Vasant, and autumn, Sarat. By so doing, he attains success, and verily he does not become liable to diseases. The 6 seasons occur in their order in the 12 months, beginning with Chaitra and ending with Fagun, 2 months being occupied by each season. But each season is experienced for 4 months, beginning with Magh and ending with Fagun. 6 seasons. The 6 seasons are as follows: Vasant or spring. The months of Vasant and spring are Chaitra and Vaisakh, which is March and April. Grishma or summer. The month of Jeshta and Asad. In English, it is May and June. Varsha or rainy. Shravan and Bhadra. That is July and August. Sarat or autumn. Asvina and Kartik. That is September and October. Hemant or cold. Agraharyana and Paush. That is November and December. Shir or cold. Magh and Fagun, which is January and February. So the book recommends the practice of yoga should be commenced by a beginner in spring, that is Vasant, which in English is March or April, or autumn, Sarat. Sarat or autumn is September or October. So if you are a total beginner, you can begin the practice of yoga either in March or April or September and October. The experiencing of seasons. Now I shall tell thee the experiencing of seasons. They are as follows. There is a table. There isn't any new information here. It's the same as it was given earlier. They are mentioning the month, season, and what is the month in it is called in English. That's what it is written. So I'm skipping this part. The practice of yoga should be commenced either in Vasant, spring, or Sarat, autumn. This is what I already told you. For in these seasons, success is attained without much trouble. Moderation of diet. He who practices yoga without moderation of diet incurs various diseases and obtains no success. A yogi should eat rice, barley, that is bread, or wheaten bread. He may eat mung beans, masha beans, gram, etc. These should be clean, white, and free from chaff. A yogi may eat patola, which is a kind of cucumber, jackfruit, manakachu, kakola, this is a kind of berry, the jujube, the bondu nut, cucumber, plantain, fig, the unripe plantain, the small plantain, the plantain stem and roots, brinjal, and medicinal roots and fruits. Example, riddhi, etc. He may eat green fresh vegetables, bal shak, black vegetables, kal shaf, the leaves of patola, the vastuka saka, and himalokika saka. These are the five sakas, that is vegetable leaves, praised as fit food for yogis. Pure, sweet, and cooling food should be eaten to fill half the stomach. Eating thus sweet juices with pleasure and leaving the other half of the stomach empty is called moderation in diet. Half the stomach should be filled with food, one quarter with water, and one quarter should be kept empty for practicing pranayam. Prohibited foods. In the beginning of yoga practice, one should discard bitter, acid, salt, pungent, and roasted things, curd, whey, heavy vegetables, wine, palm nuts, and overripe jackfruit. So also kulatha and masoor beans, pandu fruit, pumpkins, and vegetable stems, gourds, berries, katha bell, kantha bilva, and palasa. So also kadamba, jambira, bimba, lukucha, a kind of breadfruit tree, onions, lotus, kamaranga, piala, hinga, acetophyta, this is commonly used, sahmali, kemuka. A beginner should avoid much traveling, company of women, and warming himself by fire. So also he should avoid fresh butter, ghee, thickened milk, sugar, and date sugar, as well as ripe plantain, cocoa nut, pomegranate, dates, lavani fruit, amlaki, and everything containing acid juices. But cardamom, jaifal, cloves, aphrodisiacs or stimulants, the rose apple, haritaki, and palm dates a yogi may eat while practicing yoga. Easily digestible, agreeable, and cooling foods which nourishes the humors of the body, a yogi may eat according to his desire. But a yogi should avoid hard, not easily digestible, sinful food or putrid food or very hot or very stale food, as well as very cooling or very much exciting food. He should avoid early. Early means morning before sunrise, baths, fasting, etc., or anything giving pain to the body. So also is prohibited to him eating only once a day or not eating at all. But he may remain without food for 3 hours. Regulating his life in this way, let him practice pranayam. In the beginning, before commencing it, he should take a little milk and ghee daily and take his food twice a day, once at noon and once in the evening. Iti mitahara. Purification of nadis. He should sit on a seat of kusa grass or an antelope skin or tiger skin or a blanket or on earth, calmly and quietly facing east or north. Having purified the nadis, let him begin pranayam. Chandakapali said, O ocean of mercy, how are nadis purified? What is the purification of nadis? I want to learn all this. Recite this to me. Gherand said, the Vayu does not or cannot enter the nadis so long as they are full of impurities. How then can pranayam be accomplished? How can there be knowledge of tattvas? Therefore, the first nadi should be purified and then pranayam should be practiced. The purification of nadis is of two sorts, samanu and nirmanu. The samanu is done by mental process with bij mantra. The nirmanu is performed by physical cleanings. The physical cleanings or dhotis have already been taught. They consist of 6 sadhanas. Now, O Chanda, listen to Samanu process of purifying vessels. Sitting in Padmasan posture and performing the adoration of the Guru, etc., as taught by the teacher, let him perform purification of nadis for success in pranayam. Contemplating on Vayu Bija, that is yam, full of energy and of a smoke color, let him draw in breath by the left nostril, repeating the bij 16 times. This is Purak. Let him restrain the breath for a period of 64 repetitions of the mantra. This is Kumbhak. Then let him expel the air by the right nostril slowly during a period occupied by repeating the mantra 32 times. The root of the navel is the seat of Agni Tattva. Raising the fire from the place, join the Prithvi Tattva with it. Then contemplate on this mixed light. Then repeating 16 times the Agni Bija, Ram, let him draw in breath from the right nostril and retain it for a period of 64 repetition of the mantras and then expel it by the left nostril for a period of 32 repetitions of the mantra. Then, fixing the gaze on the tip of the nose and contemplating the luminous reflection of the moon there, let him inhale through the left nostril, repeating the bij hum 16 times. Let him retain it by repeating the bij hum 64 times. In the meanwhile, imagine or contemplate that the nectar flowing from the moon at the tip of the nose runs through all the vessels of the body and purifies them. Thus, contemplating, let him expel the air by repeating 32 times the Prithvi Bij Lam. By these 3 pranayams, the nadis are purified. Then, sitting firmly in a posture, let him begin regular pranayam. Kinds of kumbhak. The kumbhaks or retention of breath are of 8 sorts: Sahita, Suryabheda, Ujjayi, Sitali, Bhastrika, Brahmari, Murcha, and Kevali. Sahita. The Sahita Kumbhak is of 2 sorts, Sagarbha and Nirgarbha. The Kumbhak performed by repetition of Bij Mantra is Sagarbha. That done without such repetition is Nirgarbha. First, I shall tell thee the Sagarbha Pranayam. Sitting in Sukhasan posture, facing east or north, let him contemplate on Brahma, full of Rajas quality of a blood red color in the form of letter. Honestly, this letter is not visible. Now, let's proceed forward. Let the wise practitioner inhale by the left nostril, repeating again the Bij Mantra is not legible, but the Bij Mantra has to be repeated 16 times. Then before he begins retention, here inhalation retention, because you have to inhale from the left, and before you begin retention of the breath, he has to perform Udyan Bandh. This part is also very confusing because if you inhale, Udyan Bandh is performed in exhalation retention state, not inhalation retention. Because when you inhale, the air is inside the body, and at that point, Udyan Bandh is not performed. I mean, generally, we have not learned Udyan Bandh in inhalation retention state. We have learned it in exhalation retention state. So this whole part is a bit confusing. So let's leave it, move forward. Just understand that this is what it is written, that inhalation, and before you start a retention, that is inhalation retention, you have to perform Udyan Bandh, which is very difficult to even imagine. Now, let's move forward. Then let him retain the breath by repeating 64 times, contemplating on Hari of a black color and of Sattva quality. Then let him exhale the breath through the right nostril by repeating the mantra Ma 32 times, contemplating Seva for a white color and of tamas quality. Then again inhale through Pingala, that is right nostril, retain by Kumbhak, and exhale by Ida, that is left nostril, in the method taught above, changing the nostrils alternately. So it is basically alternate nostril breathing. But here the only thing which is confusing is uh, Udyan Bandh in inhalation retention state. Let him practice thus alternating the nostril again and again. When inhalation is completed, close both nostrils, the right one by the thumb and the left one by the ring finger and the little finger, never using the index and middle fingers. The nostrils to be closed so long as kumbhak is. The Nirgarbha or simple or mantra less pranayam is performed without the repetition of Bija mantra. So, this is what we generally perform in pranayam. And the period of Purak, that is inhalation, Kumbhak, it is retention, and Rechak, expiration, may be extended from 1 to 100 matras. The best is 20 matras. So matras here is seconds. That is Purak 20 seconds, Kumbhak 80, and Rechak 40 seconds. So this is basically in a ratio of 1 is to 4 is to 2. So you breathe in for 20 seconds, you hold the breath for 80 seconds, 80 counts, and then you exhale for 40 seconds or 40 counts. The 16 matras is middling, that is 16, 64, and 32. Again, see 16, 1 is to 4, 64 to 2. 1 is to 4 is to 2 ratio. The 12 matras is the lowest. Again 12, 48, and 24. So 12 matras is the lowest. That means this is the lowest with which you should start. You start with inhalation with the count of 12, retention count 48, and exhalation count 24. This is the lowest that you should start from. Thus the pranayam is of 3 sorts. By practicing the lowest pranayam for some time, the body begins to perspire copiously. By practicing the middling, the body begins the quiver. Especially there is a feeling of quivering along the spinal cord. By the highest pranayam, one leaves the ground, that is, there is levitation. These signs attend the success of these three sorts of pranayam. By pranayam is attained the power of levitation, Khechari Sakti. By pranayam, diseases are cured. By pranayam, the Sakti, spiritual energy, is awakened. By pranayam is obtained the calmness of mind and exaltation of mental powers, clairvoyance. By this, mind becomes full of bliss. Verily, the practitioner of pranayam is happy. Surya Bheda Kumbhak. Gherand said, I have told thee the Sahita Kumbhak, now hear the Surya Bheda. Inspire with all your strength the external air through the sun tube, that is right nostril. Retain this air with the greatest care, performing the Jalandhar Mudra. Let the kumbhak be kept up so long as the perspiration does not burst out from the tips of the nails and the roots of the hair. The Vayus. The Vayus are 10, namely Prana, Apana, Samana, Udana, and Vyana. Nag, Kurma, Krikara, Devadatta, Dhananjay. Their seeds. The prana moves always in the heart. The apana in the sphere of anus. The samana in the navel region. The udana in the throat. And vyana pervades the whole body. These are the 5 principal vayus known as pranadi. They belong to the inner body. The nagadi 5 vayus belong to the outer body. I now tell thee the seeds of these 5 external vayus. The Nagavayu performs the function of eructation. The Kurma opens the eyelids. The Krikara causes sneezing. The Devadatta does yawning. The Dhananjay pervades the whole gross body and does not leave it even after death. The Nagavayu give rise to consciousness. The Kurma causes vision. The Krikara hunger and thirst. Devdutt produces yawning, and by Dhananjay sound is produced. This does not leave the body ever. All these Vayus, separated by the Surya Nadi, let him raise up from the root of the navel, then let him expire by the Ida Nadi, slowly and with unbroken continuous force. Let him again draw the air through the right nostril, retaining it as taught above, and exhale it again. Let him do this again and again. In this process, the air is always inspired through Surya Nadi. So, Surya Bheda Pranayam is basically you inhale through the right nostril, you hold the breath, retain the breath for as long as is comfortable, and then you exhale the air out through the left nostril. Its benefits. The Surya Bheda Kumbhak destroys decay and death, awakens the Kundalini Shakti, increases the bodily fire. O Chanda, thus have I taught thee the Surya Bheda Kumbhak. The description of this process as given in Hatha Yoga Pradipika is somewhat different. Soon after Purak, inspiration, one should perform Jalandhar, and at the end of Kumbhak, but before Rechak, perform Udyan Bandh. Then quickly contract the anal orifice by Mool Bandh, contract the throat, pull in the stomach towards the back. By this process, the air is forced into the Brahmanadi. Raise the apana up, the lower prana, below the kantha. A yogi becomes free from decay. The air should be drawn through the right nostril and expelled through the left. So this is a note on Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Let's move forward. Ujjayi. Close the mouth. Draw in the external air by both the nostrils and pull up the internal air from the lungs and throat. Retain them in the mouth. Then, having washed the mouth, that is expelled air through mouth, perform Jalandhar. Let him perform Kumbhak with all his might and retain the air unhindered. All works are accomplished by Ujjayi Kumbhak. He is never attacked by phlegm diseases or nervous diseases or indigestion or dysentery or consumption or cough or fever or spleen. Let a man perform Ujjayi to destroy decay and death. Again, in the note, it is mentioned that in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, the description is different. Sitali. Draw in the air through the mouth with the lips contracting and tongue thrown out, and fill the stomach slowly. Retain it there for a short time, then exhale it through both the nostrils. Let the yogi always practice this Sitali Kumbhak, giver of bliss. By so doing, he will be free from indigestion, phlegm, and bilious disorders. Bhastrika. As the bellows of the ironsmith constantly dilate and contract, similarly let him slowly draw in the air by both the nostrils and expand the stomach, then throw it out quickly, the wind making the sound like bellows. Having thus inspired and expired quickly 20 times, let him perform Kumbhak. Then let him expel it by the previous method. Let the wise one perform this Bhastrika Kumbhak thrice. He will never suffer any disease and will always be healthy. Brahmari. At past midnight, in a place where there are no sounds of any animals to be heard, let the yogi practice Purak and Kumbhak, closing the ears by the hands. He will hear then various internal sounds in his right ear. The first sound will be like that of crickets, then that of a lute, then that of thunder, then that of drum, then that of beetle, then that of bells, then those of gongs of bell, metal, trumpet, kettle drums, mridanga, military drums, and dundubi, etc. Thus, various sounds are cognized by daily practice of this kumbhak. Last of all is heard the anahat sound rising from the heart. Of this sound there is resonance, in that resonance there is a light. In that light the mind should be immersed. When the mind is absorbed, then it reaches the highest seat of Vishnu. By success in this Brahmari Kumbhak, one gets success in Samadhi. Murcha. Having performed Kumbhak with comfort, let him withdraw the mind from all the objects and fix it in the space between the two eyebrows. This causes fainting of the mind and gives happiness. For by thus joining the manas with the Atma, the bliss of yoga is certainly obtained. Kevali. The breath of every person in entering make the sound of Sah, and in coming out that of Hum. These two sounds make Soham. Soham, I am that, or Hamsa, the great swan. Throughout a day and a night, there are 21,600 such respirations. That is 15 respirations per minute. Every living being, Jeev, performs this jap unconsciously but constantly. This is called Ajapa Gayatri. This Ajapa Japa is performed in three places, that is, in the Muladhara, the space between anus and membranum virile, in the Anahata lotus, heart, and in the Ajna lotus, the space where the two nostril joins. This body of Vayu is 96 digit length, 6 that is 6 feet as a standard. The ordinary length of the air current when expired is 12 digits, 9 inches. In singing, its length becomes 16 digits, that is 1 foot. In eating, it is 20 digits, 15 inches. In walking, it is 24 digits, that is 18 inches. In sleep, it is 30 digits, that is 27 and half inches. In copulation, it is 36 digits, that is 27 inches. And in taking physical exercise, it is more than that. By decreasing the natural length of expired current from the 9 inches to less and less, there takes place increase of life. And by increasing the current, there is decrease of life. So long as the breath remains in the body, there is no death. When the full length of the wind is all confined in the body, nothing being allowed to go out, it is Keval Kumbhak. All jivas are constantly and unconsciously reciting this Ajapa mantra, only for a fixed number of times every day. But a yogi should recite this consciously and counting the numbers. By doubling the number of ajapa, that is by 30 respirations per minute, the state of manomani, fixedness of mind, is attained. There are no regular rechak and purak in this process. It is only kumbhak. By inspiring air by both nostrils, let him perform kevala kumbhak. On the first day, let him retain the breath from 1 to 64 times. This keval should be performed 8 times a day, once in every 3 hours, or one may do it 5 times a day, as I shall tell thee. First in the early morning, then at noon, then in the twilight, then at midnight, and then in the fourth quarter of the night. Or one may do it thrice a day, that is in the morning, noon, and evening. So long as success is not obtained in Kevala, he should increase the length of Ajapa Japa every day, 1 to 5 times. He who knows pranayam and Kevala is the real yogi. What can he not accomplish in this world who has acquired success in Kevala Kumbhak? And with this, the lesson 5 ends. I hope these audio video books are being helpful to you. Do let me know how you feel about it. And I will see you in the 6th lesson in the next video. Take care. Namaste.